Hi, Artemis Paint here. In this video I'll explain how to analyse a football team's last 6 matches. Many people just scroll down the list of the last 6 matches and say to themselves something like, well, Arsenal should have won that match because they were odds-on favourites, or Everton did well in that match because they were the outsider and they got a draw. However, we can do much better than that. In this video, I'll explain how I assess recent form. There's nothing difficult in this video. You're probably already familiar with the information that I use. However, what may be new is how I put the pieces of information together to reach a conclusion. So let's get started. It's important to remember that odds reflect probabilities and not certainties. Each team has a probability of winning, drawing and losing. The first topic in this video addresses the question, has the team that we're researching been overachieving, underachieving or performing as expected in terms of results? To do this, we'll work out the number of points a team is expected to win from the last 6 matches. This is different from just looking at whether the team should have won, drawn or lost individual matches. We also need to remember that there's a large element of luck in football, and this is why the bookmakers present odds. Each team has a probability of winning, drawing and losing. The second topic addresses the question, has the team been lucky or unlucky, or has their luck been just about right? And in this analysis, I'll look at home form for the home team and away form for the away team. So I'll start by looking at expected points, which I'll abbreviate as X points in this video. I'll use a fictitious match and put Everton at home and Arsenal away into the Poisson calculator. I won't go through the whole match analysis. I showed how I would go about the first part of the analysis in the last video in the Brighton-Liverpool example. When you put your teams in the Poisson calculator, 4 tabs will appear at the top of the calculator. These tabs are Stats 1 year, which are 1 year statistics, Last 6 games, home and away, which are the last 6 home games for the home team and the last 6 away games for the away team. Then there's last 6 games all, which are the last 6 matches, regardless of whether the matches were home or away. And then stats, the last 6, and these are the statistics just for the last 6 matches, with home games applying to the home team and away games applying to the away team. So we're going to use 3 of these for our analysis. I'll start by looking at the last 6 matches, home and away. So this shows the last 6 matches. I'll explain what everything means. The last 6 match ratings at the top are the most important numbers. If you were in a rush, you could just look at these numbers. The ratings at the top reflect how many points the team has gained compared to how many points the team was expected to get from the last 6 matches. Therefore, if a team won exactly the number of points that it was expected to get, the percentage would be 100%. If a team has a rating greater than 100%, like Everton in this example, the team has overachieved. By contrast, if a team has a rating of less than 100%, like Arsenal in this example, the team has underachieved. You will see that Everton has a last 6 match home rating of 159.04%. This means that Everton has gained 59.04% more points from their last 6 matches than expected. In other words, Everton has been overachieving by 59.04% in their last 6 matches. Arsenal have a last 6 match away rating of 65.55%. This means that Arsenal have won only 65.55% of the points that would be expected in their last 6 matches. Now, I won't go deeply into the maths because some people don't like maths. The article on my website explains the maths, and the link is under the video. And if you're a maths person, you'll know how to do the calculations anyway. You don't really need to understand where the numbers come from. However, I will explain where the numbers come from so that you know that these numbers have a logical basis. On the right of the grey box with prob inside, there's a list of probabilities for the home win, draw and away win. The historical football data that I get contains average bookmakers' odds. I convert these odds into percentages and then, in order to remove the effects of the bookies over round, I scale the percentages to a total of 100. X points per game reflects the theoretical average number of points that Everton would get if the match against Crystal Palace was played an infinite number of times. This is a simple calculation. We multiply the probability of the home win by 3 points and the probability of the draw by 1 point and add these two numbers together. So instead of saying that Everton should win this match because they're favourites, we're saying that Everton has a 49.24% chance of getting 3 points and a 27.67% chance of getting 1 point. And we don't have to do anything about the away win because this would be 0 points and we'd be multiplying by 0. So 49.24 times 3 plus 27.67 times 1 is 1.75 points. And we'd do the same procedure for all 6 matches. For Arsenal, we'd do a similar calculation, except X points would be the probability of an away win times 3 points plus the probability of a draw times 1 point. Where it says PTS, this is the actual number of points won. So this refers to in this example to the actual number of points that Everton got from each game. So because Everton won against Crystal Palace, they got 3 points. So to calculate the last 6 match home rating, the calculator adds up the points that Everton obtained in the 6 matches and divides this by the total number of expected points, and the result of this is multiplied by 100. So the formula is total points over total expected points times 100. And to calculate the away team's rating would follow the exact same procedure, except we'd be calculating expected points from the away team's perspective. So this is the most objective way that I can think of to work out how well a team has performed over the last 6 games. As I've said, you don't need to do any of this maths, you can just look up the last 6 match ratings at the top of the calculator. So now we know from the above calculations that based on points gained in the last 6 games, Everton has overachieved while Arsenal has underachieved. However, the analysis doesn't stop there. There is a luck factor in football. This is one of the reasons that we can bet on it. It's also one of the reasons that there are no certainties. The questions are, have Everton just been lucky or have they been playing well? Have Arsenal been unlucky or have they been playing badly? To answer these questions, we need to look at the statistics. So we click on the 6 match statistics link to bring up the stats for the last 6 matches, with home and away form counted separately for the home and away team respectively. With all my statistics, I like to set them out so that you can see how each statistical variable influences the win rate of teams. So for shots on target, you'll see the average shots on target for all matches. Then you'll see the average shots on target when the team wins, the average when they draw, and the average when they lose. I've listed the standard statistics here, However, in my opinion, the most useful statistic is shots on target, both for and against the team. When you look at the long-term stats of the stronger teams, or what you might call teams that emphasise possession, you can see a clear pattern of more shots on target when they win compared to when they draw or lose. In addition, you'll often see less shots on target faced when they win compared to when they draw or lose, and you don't see such a clear pattern with any other statistic. That said, we can only reach tentative conclusions by looking at shots on target. As I've said, when we look at data, we can seldom be 100% sure that our conclusions are correct. This is why I emphasise looking at football from multiple angles. If our various analyses all tell the same story, we can be more confident of our opinion. Every play in football has a percentage chance of success. It's not just shots on target. For example, when you see a winger cross a ball perfectly to the feet of a striker, it might look amazing. However, the chances are that the winger will get the cross perfect only a small percentage of the time. He'll put in an adequate cross a larger percentage of time, and he'll completely mess it up some of the time. Obviously, the better wingers have better percentages. And this idea of percentages in football works for normal passes, tackles and saves by goalkeepers. However, a team can only score goals if it's getting shots on target. That's apart from penalties, of course. What you're seeing in these tables is the conversion rate of shots on target for goals from last season. The lists are ranked by their conversion percentage, so Man City at home have a conversion percentage of 43.61%. They got around 7 shots on target per home match on average last season. Although that's the highest relative to any other team, there can be variability in shots on targets being converted to goals in an individual match. In addition, 43.61 is worse than the odds of a coin flip. Even with the highest percentage in the league, they can expect to have the occasional bad run. However, you might not notice such runs. This is because when Man City get a bad run in terms of scoring goals, this might not be reflected in the match results. And this is because Man City are also good at stopping other teams from getting shots on target. Therefore, a bad run for Man City might be a series of games where they win 1-0 or 2-1, along with the odd draw. When you look at teams that are below Man City and Liverpool and possibly Chelsea, you'll find more variability. When a team's shots on target conversion rate to goals is close to 30%, the odds are comparable to backgammon when you're on the bar against a 5-point board. Anyone who's played backgammon will know that you can be rolling for a long time before you hit your number. So that's how I view shots on target. If a team is having a bad run while still getting their shots on target, they may not be playing badly because they're still getting to roll the dice. If a team isn't getting many shots on target, they're not getting to roll the dice often, and if the team isn't rolling the dice, they can't win. However, unlike the Poisson model, these percentages don't take the opponent's defence strength into account. Therefore, Man City will probably have a higher conversion rate than 43.61% against Norwich and a lower conversion rate against Chelsea. So when you look at a team's shots on target in a match, you have to take into account the defence strength of the opposing team, and this can only be estimated. If you look down a list of statistics, it's difficult to know whether the numbers are big or small. The secret to looking at short-term statistics is to compare each team with itself over different time periods. So you compare the team's short-term statistics with its long-term statistics. The long-term statistics don't have to be a year's worth of statistics. They could be even longer. However, I'm going to use a year here. So I'll click on the tab labelled Stats 1 Year. So I've got Everton and Arsenal's 6-match and 1 year stats side by side. I'll look at Everton first. So there's no difference between the average shots on target, the average shots on target for between the two datasets. If you look at the shots on target faced, you'll see that Everton have faced slightly more shots on target in the 6-match sample compared to the 1 year sample. Therefore, we can't say that Everton has shown improvement. If you look at Arsenal, they've had more or less the same average number of shots on target in the 6-match and the 1 year stats. However, they've faced less shots on target in the 6-match analysis compared to the 1 year analysis. So this suggests that Arsenal have been playing better and not worse. And even if you don't want to go so far as to say Arsenal have improved, it can't be argued that they played worse than normal. And there are two things that you'd have to check to reach such a conclusion. Firstly, the fact that Arsenal have been facing less shots on target but have been losing matches could be because their goalkeeper's off form. I mean, goalkeepers don't usually lose their form. However, you would need to check that they haven't been playing their second best goalkeeper. Secondly, you'd have to check whether teams have been playing a representative sample of teams in the last 6-match analysis. For example, if a team has only played strong teams or all weak teams, you couldn't compare 6-match stats with 1 year stats. And this is because strong teams are better at getting shots on target and stopping other teams from getting shots on target, while weak teams are the opposite. Therefore, a 6-match sample in which the opposition is at extremes of strong or weak shouldn't be compared to a 1 year sample. So far from this analysis, I would say that Everton have been lucky, while Arsenal may have been unlucky. And this is where you might find value. When other punters are making decisions solely on short-term results, and you're doing a deeper analysis, you might find value opportunities when your opinion is the opposite to the majority. And these are tentative conclusions. However, there's one more thing we can do to help us decide whether Arsenal have been unlucky. Let's click on the link that says Last 6 All. When I started making this video, I didn't know that Arsenal had played Everton at home in their last match. I just chose random teams until I found a pair with one that was above average on points and one that was below average. The fact that the most recent match was between Arsenal and Everton doesn't make any difference to the idea that I'm trying to put across. So these are the 6 most recent matches for each team, regardless of whether the matches were home or away. I'm more interested in Arsenal's overall performance here. They are over 100% on their last 6 match rating, and this suggests that they have not lost their form. It's unlikely that a team would only deteriorate on away form, but not on home form as well. And although these 6 matches are more recent than the last 6 away matches, this together with the fact that Arsenal hadn't shown deterioration on the 6-match stats compared to the 1 year stats would convince me that Arsenal's poor results in their last 6 away matches was just variation or bad luck. There's a saying in Gestalt psychology, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Often individual stats don't tell you anything. However, when you put different sets of stats together, they can sometimes tell a story. So I've explained a 2-step process for analysing the last 6 matches, and this isn't a lot of work. It's much quicker to do this analysis than it is to explain it. At least it is if you're using my calculators. Although this is not a foolproof formula for analysing the last 6 matches of a football team or recent form, it's a better method than just scrolling through the last 6 matches and just saying to yourself, I reckon they should have won that match because they were favourite. This method is a way of weighing up how 2 teams have performed in their last 6 matches. In addition, this is part of a bigger analysis in which we're trying to put long-term analyses together with short-term analyses. In addition, the idea of comparing 2 sets of stats of different lengths of time can be applied to more than just this situation. Anyway, that's all for this video. Take care and good luck.